For almost 2 decades, predicting the Roland Garros winner was a completely useless thing to do, all because of one man.
En 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 et 2022. Il est espagnol, Rafael Nadal!
But when the final boss retired in 2024, everything changed. Alcaraz won the tournament back-to-back and was looking to make it 3 in a row. But with the 2-time defending champ out for a while due to a wrist injury, the throne now sits empty. And what that means for us? Well, we've got ourselves a wide-open tournament. Kinda. Look, we could throw darts at the board, vibe check every player, and put out a poll, which would probably end up with Jannik Sinner getting 90% of the votes. But what if we used real data and stats collected over years' worth of clay court matchups to actually map out the draw? I'm talking head-to-heads, tournament form, all of it, to figure out which player is going to be crowned the 2026 Roland Garros champion. To make this easy, let's start by grouping these players into tiers. S tier for the overwhelming favorite Jannik Sinner. He stands alone at the top. A tier for legit contenders outside of Sinner with the best chances. B tier for dangerous opponents with an outside shot at the title. C tier goes to those who can make deep runs with a favorable draw. And D tier reserved for players like Riley Opelka who know they're cooked regardless of the situation. And just because anything can happen in tennis, F tier for everyone else, including qualifiers with chances that reside somewhere between slim and none. Starting with the overwhelming favorite and top seed Jannik Sinner. A Greek philosopher once said this about Sinner. Okay. Alright. Anyway, it's crazy to think that Sinner's first big title on clay didn't come until Monte Carlo this year. And who did he beat in that final? Alcaraz in straight sets. He then went on to win Madrid because there was literally no one there to challenge him.
You know, unfortunately, certain Jannik Sinner doesn't lose to anybody anymore, so...
And since Rome was his home tournament, he also decided to make it a clean sweep there. Simply put, this dude is unbelievable.
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 Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Right now, Sinner is cooking. He's in the form of his life. He's just completed the career Golden Masters. And this tournament is the only major he hasn't won. And it just so happens that Jannik needs it to complete the career Grand Slam, which is insane considering that he's still only 24 years old. Previously, Sinner has said that this is his biggest goal of the year. But does winning the French Open without his biggest rival in the picture leave some question marks? I don't think so, because Jannik was only 1 point from hoisting the trophy last year, so it shouldn't really matter. The gap between Sinner and everyone else is a literal chasm. Now, the only thing that could potentially work against Sinner at Roland Garros is fatigue later into the rounds. We saw some of those signs against Medi in the semis in Rome, and the fact that he's played a lot of tennis heading into Paris could also potentially be a problem at some point. Remember, he hasn't just played in these tournaments, he's won all of them, which means he's got quite a bit of mileage on his body. It's really a grind, and if the fatigue catches up to him later in the tournament, that's where it's going to get interesting. Now, with that said, when we look at the numbers, we have to ask ourselves this question. Honestly, does it really matter who's in Sinner's half of the draw? At this point, I've got to say, it would take something truly out of this world to stop him. But we aren't going to just hand it to Sinner and call it a day. We need to comb through the entire field. And right after Sinner, we have two guys. It's crazy that a 39-year-old part-time tennis player probably has a better chance than the rest of the field. A 25th Grand Slam, 4-time career Grand Slam on the line. We've seen how near impossible it's been for Djokovic to beat both Sinner and Alcaraz in the same tournament to win a slam. In fact, he's gotten stopped by either of them at slams 7 times. It seems like he can beat one of them, but both of them off the bounce is probably a bit too much for his body. And so it goes without saying that Djokovic might not get a better shot than what he has right now to win that elusive 25th major. Last year, at the same tournament, Djokovic beat Zverev in the quarters, coming from a set down to win in 4. And then he played a competitive 3-setter against Sinner in the semis. Also, having a 101-17 lifetime record on the Parisian clay and being a 3-time champion here makes it still pretty easy to put Djokovic among the favorites. He'll always be at slams, and that's some logic that former tennis star Ana Ivanovic follows too.
I definitely think he has a chance to win another Grand Slam. His game is still at a very high level. He can compete with the top guys.
But let me be real with you here. Djokovic has barely been on the court. I'm talking a dozen matches in 5 months. He also had some injury concerns entering Rome, where he lost his opener to Dino Prismic. Look, as much as I'd love to see Novak win, the odds of winning even with Alcaraz not being there aren't exactly as favorable as what you'd expect. We're talking about 7 best-of-5 matches on clay at 39 years old, with only 1 match played on clay this year. That's a stretch that, even by Novak standards, the preparation isn't ideal. Still though, don't take these predictions too seriously. I mean, I famously had Shelton winning Miami a year ago, and Hubert Hurkacz as a dark horse at Wimbledon. Well, I mean, he was kind of a real threat like a few years ago. Still, I can't help but look back and laugh at myself when I remember some of those picks. These days, making predictions is as difficult as explaining to some Jannik fans that one prediction made in January about Alcaraz being more likely to pull away from Sinner doesn't mean I hate Jannik or love him any less than Alcaraz. Guys, I'll admit it, I suck at predictions. But if there's anything I've learned from being around this game for so long, it's that anyone can be completely right or completely wrong. That's just how this game works. Now, moving on to Alexander Zverev, who happens to be the 2nd seed. His powerful baseline game and improved consistency makes him tough to beat, especially on clay. Zverev has reached the semis or better at 6 of the 7 tournaments he's played this year, and most of the time, he's only getting stopped by Sinner.
It was fun, I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ballgame, but I had a blast, so thank you.
Zverev has reached multiple semifinals and a final at the French, which he lost to Alcaraz after 5 incredible sets of tennis back in 2024. Now, at 28 years old, he's easily the best player, maybe ever, to have never won a major despite reaching 3 slam finals. It's the only achievement in tennis that's eluded him. Somehow, Sasha finds different ways to break your heart in finals, which makes it tough to have him as your pick. There's always that Zverev moment where he becomes passive and goes for the percentage shot when he should be going for the jugular. Anyway, good thing he's the 2nd seed, which means he won't have to face Sinner until the final. All things being equal, Sasha only needs to beat Sinner, which he hasn't done in 3 years. 9 straight losses, only 2 sets won out of the 21 sets they've played. Now, in the B tier, we have some really interesting players. Like Zverev, Casper Ruud is a 3-time Slam finalist. Twice at the French Open, where he lost to Nadal in 2022 and lost to Djokovic in 2023. It's bad enough when you have to face 2 of the GOATs in a final. Ruud lost that 2022 final even before he stepped on the court. Hence the silent cry from Ruud here.
How long more or less? 2 seconds.
Don't worry, Casper. I would have shit my pants too, seeing Nadal do all that crazy stuff behind me. I mean, even Novak was intimidated.
And the way you jump around like Nadal does before we go out on the court, in the locker room, he's doing sprints next to you. I can even hear the music he's listening part of the scenario, right?
Rafa beat Casper on 1 foot and then was literally seen on crutches the next day. I'd be mad if I was Casper. Okay, seriously, things are different now. Ruud's chances might actually be better than 3 or 4 years ago, and he's still a top 5 clay court player on the planet when he's on. The results, well, they speak for themselves. Being a finalist in Rome, he'll carry plenty of confidence going into the French Open this year. Unfortunately, Musetti, who happens to be one of the most difficult opponents to face on the surface, won't be competing at Roland Garros due to injury. But someone else who we maybe weren't expecting might actually be a real threat. In the past, we didn't know who was actually more disgusted, Joakim Noah after this airball, or Medvedev anytime he played on clay.
I don't want to play here on this surface.
But after all is said and done, Medvedev has shown that he can be somewhat underrated on clay. He's won the Italian Open and reached the 2nd week at Roland Garros a couple of times. Plus, he just made it to the semis in Rome, pushing Sinner to 3 sets. Medi is capable of both extremes, getting bounced in the first round or going just as deep into the tournament. This is a tough one, but I actually have Medi making the 4th round, and the reason, you guys might think it's a bit stupid. But if you take a look here, it has to do with the pattern that we've seen over the last couple of years. For the same reason, I'm not expecting much from Felix Auger-Aliassime. Someone tell me why Medi and FAA have the exact same Roland Garros results over the past 4 years? Seriously though, having played in so many Grand Slam finals, Medvedev has plenty of experience to navigate tough matches regardless of the surface, which is why he makes it to the B tier despite not really having a game built for clay. In the C tier, we have some top 10 players high up on the list and some really solid players inside the top 20. Ben Shelton's success in Munich was historic for the Americans. And looking at his performance at Roland Garros, he reached the 4th round last year where he put up a great fight against Alcaraz. At the moment, Shelton is America's best hope for success on clay, but it's not like he really showed up in Madrid or Rome. In fact, he failed to win a single match. Fritz hasn't played a single match since Miami in an attempt to recover from his knee tendonitis, and he already lost early in Geneva. All in all, we can't really get our hopes high for him entering into Roland Garros. Then we have Francisco Cerundolo, who has shown borderline top 10 level on clay. He's beaten Zverev 3 times on the surface, won Buenos Aires this year, and he's already made it to the second week at the French Open twice. But at the same time, he can suffer some pretty bad losses too. Flavio Cobolli is the world number 12, and he had a dominant win over Zverev on clay last month. He was also the runner-up in Munich, quarterfinalist in Madrid. He wasn't at his best in Rome or Hamburg, but he's still definitely a dangerous opponent to meet in the round of 16. His forehand especially can produce a lot of damage. Valentin Vachereau was a semi-finalist in Monte Carlo and has been a mostly consistent top 20 tennis player for the last couple of months. He can be dangerous if he gets into the second week. Alex de Minaur, he's been in poor form by his standards since the Rotterdam title run. Alexander Bublik has won a bunch of 250s on clay. He's solid on the surface and he can upset anyone. But at the same time, don't be surprised if he's sent packing in the first round. Tsitsipas is one who maybe should have been higher up on this list. He was a Roland Garros finalist half a decade ago, had a stranglehold on the Monte Carlo Masters, and consistently produced his best tennis on clay. These days, though, he's a bit of a shadow of himself. To be fair, he's picked up some better form of late, but being outside the top 70 at this point doesn't really help his case. If he gets a tough draw, he's cooked. What about Fonseca and Hadar? The only 2 teenagers inside the top 100, both inside the top 30, I should say. Both are capable of producing an upset, and depending on the draw, a round of 16 appearance can be considered a success. For those in the D and F tiers, who, by the way, are still more talented than 99% of people out there, there's still a chance.
Don't give me hope.
At the moment, the bookmakers have Sinner at minus 275 odds, Zverev somewhere between plus 700 and plus 1,000, and Djokovic a little bit further away at 1,000 to plus 1,700. Casper Ruud right behind him, but we'll have to see there. Now, having crunched the numbers, examined the top contenders, played out the different possible scenarios, along with some historical context, my 2026 Roland Garros winner on the men's side is Luciano Darderi. No, I'm just kidding. Jannik Sinner's gonna win the whole damn thing, and I'm finally gonna feel like a genius with this whole prediction thing. I mean, guys, come on, who else did you think I was gonna go for? Come June 7th, 2026, Jannik Sinner will become the French Open champion and will complete the career Grand Slam. He's beating whoever he meets in the final in straight sets, no matter how well they play. And if we're being real here, he'll probably get bored while doing it because he's just too good. But if for some reason I'm dead wrong on this one because Sinner decides to play blindfolded with his left hand or is actually injured, honestly, fair play to whoever wins the whole thing. But guys, I want to know your picks for Roland Garros this year. Who do you have as your favorite and who's your dark horse? Be sure to let me know in the comments. As you can see, I am currently on the red dirt here in Paris right now, bringing you guys a couple of stories that I've been wanting to tell on the channel for quite some time now. If you're in Paris, hit me up in the link in the description. I'm looking for hitting partners, or anywhere else in France for that matter, because I'm gonna be jumping around. And if you see me on the grounds at Roland Garros, be sure to say hi. I love meeting all of you at these events. Until next time, keep going for the lines.